Alright, it's game 2, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, SeKo Starcraft, Effort, and Flash. Game 1 was an unbelievable game, and actually I'm just kind of coming back into this. I lost my original recording of this, so tough crap for me, I suppose. But if you guys haven't watched it, I suggest checking out my channel. There should be a link there, obviously, to go check out my channel, SeKo Starcraft. You can see game 1 between Flash and Effort. Ridiculously good play by both players. Flash just managed to, spoilers, pull it out with just some great decision making at just the quickest of moments. And as much as I want to speed up this replay because it is a longer game, I also understand that this is Flash and Effort. So I'm going to just ride it out as long as I need to get it done. Now the first game, I really like what Effort did, even though it didn't work with his all-in 6 pool with drone pull. As aggressive as it was, and as unlikely as it may have been, it almost worked because he knows, and I think most people know, that Flash loves his macro. Case in point, he just got cheesed, and he's already looking at doing a CC first after Supply Depot. And that is very aggressive. It's a 4-player map, but I've seen a lot of 6 pools on this map in particular because it is a 4-player map, and if you can pull it off, you're going to kick some butt. But Effort, knowing Flash as well as he does, playing him all the way back to the Broodlord days, can you generally expect him to go for a macro opening. This game for Effort is extremely standard, and it shows interesting characteristics between these two players. Though Flash does do his cheese from time to time, it's usually I see it against other Terran players. But in the case of what's happening in this game, excuse me, I'm just having some kokanese right now. They're all left over, and fantastic. Gas before pool, but that seems like a pretty standard thing to do. We see that Effort is willing to put on the pressure, do something a little bit crazy to throw somebody off, and in the first game, that's generally where I would like to see it happen because you still have games to recover if it doesn't work. Where it's really ballsy is if a player plays a straight up game, loses, and then they're facing elimination, and they need to win more games than their opponent, and then they cheese. It's like metagaming the metagame, and I find it so much fun to watch. But, standard game, standard opening. Yes. Great timing out of Flash here. He's supply blocked, but as his SCV finishes, it's going to be pretty quick for the command center, which will give him his extra supply. Same with his command center. And you see it's blocked temporarily, but ta-da, it's ready to go. What's really fun is if you can expect a player that's going to do this. If you do bum rush him with just a couple of lings, like if you go for a 12 pool and get like 4 lings out, and then come and find this and pressure it, and you can stop this command center from going down, not only does it really hit them economically, but a lot of times if you're going for this CC first, you rely so much on this command center for supply. So if you can stop this, you can stop him from making marines, and essentially doing anything else with just a handful of lings. So there's a bit of a risk, but if you pull it off, I've seen people do it, and it's so much fun to be able to just put somebody in such a bad position, because you gotta wait for a supply depot and hope your command center doesn't get killed in the meantime while you're waiting. Now speed is out very early here from Effort. This was, you know, a few months ago in WCS Season 2. Reaper openings and, you know, 2 Reaper harass into expansions were super common, and as a Zerg player, if you don't have your queens out, and even sometimes you have your queens out, if you don't have lings with speed, you just have to sit there and be defensive, and it's a really awkward position to be in as a Zerg player where you've got to be defensive as opposed to aggressive in the early game. Having lings with speed out means that even if your Terran opponent does happen to go for, you know, a few Hellions, he risks losing those with a good Zergling surround, and then he's hooped. It's super tough for him to regain that map control. Now, Effort would have seen this 3rd CC go down there, but his 3rd hatch is pretty delayed. I would not have actually been too surprised if he went for a roach war, and he's pretty well saturated in 2 bases and marched across. Terrans that open this way, because it is so mineral intensive and not gas intensive, they will not have tanks out, and if they're lucky, they might have a Widow Mine or 2, and generally you can trigger those fairly easily. That one Zergling is going to get away. Flash should know that speed is out and available now. Roach Warren is started. Gas now being taken at 2 extractors. I wouldn't be surprised to see a baneling nest go down here pretty quick as well. Because I know that, like most players, that roach warren is just there for defensive purposes. It's really more important for them to get into ling, baneling, and that mutalisc play. Lair is a little bit delayed there. He does have the resources to be able to get it, but because he's saving up so much gas, I wonder if we're going to see a big roach baneling bust on 3 bases. Well, yeah, that would do it. 10 roaches. Now, we did see a scan happen. Now, he does see the baneling nest and the roach warren. That's so... he scanned again just to make sure. That's really funny. Flash scan is like, oh yeah, that's... wait a second. Just wait a second. And, yeah, now he knows he's in a little bit of trouble. But immediately 7 drones behind this. So the fact that effort was scanned, or he never really intended this to be as all-in as it looks. Hellions return home. Widow mines out. More bunkers. You have to do this as a Terran player if you see this kind of pressure coming. You can always salvage these things for 75 out of 100 minerals. There's no reason not to do it. Widow mines spread out nicely. There's very few units out for Flash to defend this. He's got 6 Marines, 4 Aliens, and 4 Widow mines. Once again, Widow mines aren't that great because you can spend all of your shots really badly if you're not lucky. There is a medevac out here. I'm sure that Flash wanted to go for a Widow mine drop or something. Look at all the drones being produced by effort here. Maybe this is just a really high level metagame thing. We see Flash is pushing out just to make sure. So if we look at the units tab, big lead for the Zerg player right now. And that's such an interesting risk. He put out 10 roaches, no more Zerglings and no banelings. So this is just a complete, like, mind screw. I like saying mind fuck, but I'm trying to keep my language a little bit better. To say that I'm going to put together something that is going to just force my opponent to be super defensive. You see, he's already salvaged them bunkers. Flash knows he's been duped. Now the medevac has been scouted. Spore going down, quite important. He's going to boost by. Let's see if he gets a couple of drops off. He doesn't have drilling claws obviously at this point, so if he drops a mine without really good placement, it's just going to hurt him. This is a pretty smart move from here. There's no detection on this base right now. Well, that's a pretty good move there from effort. Actually, he hasn't taken that much damage. Yeah, that's alright. Deal with that. Medevac gets shut down though, and he lost 4 mines. For how much work did he get done? 7 workers killed. It's hard to say that's really that big a deal. We see another 7 workers just popping out. A couple marauders in this mix here. Manages to toast himself a few roaches. This Viking's putting in work. He's putting in overtime right now. Overlord speed is finished. If you've got the resources and you've macroed this good, there's almost no reason not to get that. It's good for scouting later. It keeps more overlords alive than not. Just worthwhile altogether. So supply-wise, Flash has taken the lead, even though from an economic standpoint, we did see that effort had taken a really big lead on things. Just getting out a lot of his upgrades right now. Flash smartly understands that a big risk to him right now is run-bys, so he's got himself positioned with a bunker and a Widow mine, which should keep him pretty safe. And as he pushes out, I mean, it's just, ooh, to be expected that you're going to have these kind of baneling bust run-bys. It's so common right now to see these. They can do so much damage if you don't pay attention. A handful of banelings run in there, kill 20 workers, and you're sad. It's the only way to really describe it. It's just sad. Ça va mal. To my French people in the audience. So the baneling doesn't even trigger. He lost like 4 supply depots and a bunker for that. So, you know, in a trade sense, I mean, effort at least got a little bit for his money. Effort works hard for his money. Now, unfortunately for Flash, all of his Widow mines are all clumped up, so the splash of the banelings just killed them all. Super costed effectively. You know, running a bunch of banelings into 1 Widow mine or 2, that's a little bit better, but he lost 6 Widow mines without even getting a shot off. And now he's got to retreat home. Still has a lead. Oh, a couple Widow Mines chilling out in the middle. 4 kills. Ain't no thing. Pretty good Widow Mine shots. Now, I'm actually very impressed in the metagame sense of things that Widow Mines are still the super practical choice right now when it comes to this kind of play. Yeah, what I mean by that is that there was a time when the Widow Mine was, I saw players counter it so easily, like these pockets, 6 to 8 Zergling run-bys that dragged all the Widow Mines into friendly fire, and it looked like Zerg was going to beat the Widow Mine metagame. But it's just still so popular. I mean, every now and then you get some friendly fire, but in the same sense, every now and then you kill like 20 banelings and win the game in one move. That's a pretty good strew of units there. Effort. I do like this, burrowing some units around the map just to be able to see a little bit of what's going on. Huge, huge fan of that. It's something I would do with myself when I'm playing Zerg, but I kind of suck. So therefore I'm not going to be using really great moves. So, Flash still with the supply lead. Ooh, it's tasty. Scrumptious. Flash has made his... Yeah, nice scan. Has made his mind up. I actually got a little bit of splash damage off on those Widow Mines, which is kind of funny. Not the best kiting from Flash. He does keep most of his units alive though, and now he got the Mutalisks out finally. It took a while for Effort to get those out. He had to spend a lot of money on the banelings to try and keep himself moving into the mid game. You see, he doesn't really care that much about the roaches. He's more interested in using those to tank Widow Mine shots than anything else. Not too worried about throwing those away. He doesn't really even focus on upgrades for those units. More banelings coming in. Couple static defenses. Super worthwhile. Super trendy. Now Flash is just about max. Impressively, with the amount of trades that have been happening in this game. Nice snipe on the Widow Mine. I'm sure Flash was trying to deflect and shoot that Widow Mine more effectively. Oh no. This is where Flash loses this really good position he had for so long. He needs his... Ooh, that was alright though. He needs to get his drilling claws out. His 2-2 wasn't finished yet. Drilling claws isn't finished yet. Nice drag from that one shot there. Very, very intelligent from Effort, who's taking a huge supply lead right now. Told Marines and 1 Marauder at a time. Oh, we had some love happening in the back here. They only got maybe another 3 workers out of that at max. That scan just misses the banelings. That's a little sad. Sour about that miss. Pretty good Mutaflock. 2+2 attack is already on the way for Effort. And for people that really go really big, a little bit of a move command here. Lost a lot of his lings trying to do a run by. That did really work out. Should be doing PF here. Yep. Pretty good mass of Zerg heading across the map. Supplies are pretty equal. Looks like he wants to pressure this 3rd base. And it's difficult to say what the Zerg really should do at this point. I mean, I would be a bigger fan of taking a few more bases and getting myself that really huge macro lead. Punches a hole in here again. Flash is just going to remake. Ain't no big deal. But as a Zerg player, if you can't break your opponent, like, you've just got to try to set yourself up to trade better and get that economy up. There's a pretty good bang for the Zerg, so I'm sure Effort's not that worried. That's hilarious. 3 banelings next to 3 Widow Mines, and the scan doesn't see them. That's... watch the... come on! No, he doesn't really get them, and he doesn't even get the Widow Mines. That's crazy. Huge cancel of banelings there. Makes it out of there. Making it happen. Lots of baneling bombs. Flash knows about this, but he doesn't have any more command centers out yet Just for this. Wow, he's had such funky luck on those scans. Now, you could think you could unburr those and move them over, but if the opponent is on attack command, they'll just get shut down, so that's why a lot of times a Zerg player is going to hold off from using those. That one Marines is going to be a champion. That one SC. It's funny when... Oh, here we go. Pretty good hit. I love when people scan after they get hit by a baneling mine. Like, what was that? Did you guys see anything? No? It's like I swear something just blew up underneath me. You can see those big circles on the mini-map. That's just giving Flash the awareness of any more like baneling, bust, run-bys, or anything like that. Not that he's going to have the reaction time to stop them. It's just going to be important. So once again, Effort is not doing much with his position. Flash, he's got enough bases to sustain him for a long time. He doesn't even have to worry about taking these gases yet. 4 command centers on the way as well, just for the hell of it. Maxed out as Effort. What you do as a Zerg player when you're this far, well, you're not necessarily this far ahead, but you're in this position, is you got to get further ahead, move more creep, go for big engagements in the middle, get more bases. And it's easy for me to say that as a crappy player that can't do that himself. But I don't know what Effort's game plan is from here. Like, he's not starving out his opponent. He hasn't denied a single base, and he's been denied his 5th. So he's on even bank with his opponent, and he's been able to get no harassment in with any of his Mutalisks. The way you can beat Terran is you gotta starve him out, and that's tough, or you gotta get on top of the production. So even going for a base trade, hitting the production buildings, doing something to just make Flash uncomfortable, because it's not happening right now. Another baneling run by. Now the solution to a bad baneling run by is get more banelings. Pretty good pull from Flash. Yeah, that got pretty much nothing done. So, whoa, big hit. The hit of love. Oh, just 2 random ultras. Crazy. Flash's reinforcement should deal with that. Interesting position where the armies run essentially right past each other. This is a pretty good position for Effort. Let's see if he can get anything done. Drilling Claw still doesn't look like it's finished right now for the Widow Mines. No, I don't think so. So yeah, that wasn't necessarily huge. Effort has moved into Ultras. He doesn't, and Greater Spire at the same time, but he's got an Infestation Pit. But I don't think he's done anything. Well, he's got his Pathogen Glands. Getting down the fungals is super critical if you are going to be going for that mix. You can see the ton of Marauders out already for Flash, anticipating that move. But the difficulty is that he hasn't killed off the Mutaball yet. So moving into heavy Marauders against somebody that's going with still, you know, 20 Mutas, you can, it's a little bit more difficult. Finally, that drop gets cleaned up there. Flash is already moving on to his 5th base, while his opponent's still just moving into a 5th base. So I like Flash's position. The army composition, I think, is pretty awesome. I think getting some Infestors would be pretty baller. But this Muta and Ultra mix is pretty cool. Unfortunately, he got himself out of position to be able to deal with this move by. Let's see if he actually goes for some sort of trade right now. Flash only leaving a couple units to cancel that base and is already on its way back with the rest of his units. Now this could be a little ill-advised. It looks like he is going to try to get a bit of a run by here. And I don't mind the idea. Looks like he might be able to get this PF. Repair is going down. Nope, that looks like it's just going to fall. Let's see if these banelings can finally get the connection they want. Looks like they're going to. Flash is too... Oh, no, nice pull. Now, the Zerg player is on top of the production, like I was saying. But there's a bit of a bank in place. really, really stimmed army here. Pretty red. Ultras are pretty expensive to lose. But now he's in a position where he can do a tech switch if he needs to. I thought that was alright for effort. I mean, if Flash wasn't Flash and already have another base with 7 mules dropping at a time, I'd say he'd be in a bit of trouble. Smartly, it looks like effort's on his way down here to deal with this specifically, using the mobility of the mutas to get it done. Now, effort's still just on a couple of bases here. Upgrades are essentially maxed out for both players. He's got to try and save a lot of his workers here. A lot of his mules got interrupted pretty early on. Not a lot of actual Marines in this composition right now. I thought I heard some Widow Mines go down, but nothing got triggered. And Effort gets the bad news that there's already another base ready. Looks like he lost quite a few mutas in that play. He's down to just 12. Flash is pretty close to max. We now have Broodlords on the way, but there's not... I was going to say there's not a lot. That's a lot. I would consider that to be in the realm of lot. So it's interesting to see what Flash's decision here is. Go and push and just do damage. He needs more turrets than that. Or go home and defend against this. Well, it looks like he's going to do a little bit of both. Couple of changelings just chilling. Chilling like blobs. Changelings look so weird when they haven't changed into anything yet. So income-wise, Flash is just about double of his opponent, except for gas. But I think the Zerg player is much more demanding of gas right now than Flash is. His bio army is keeping it fairly cheap on the gas side of things. Now these missile turrets will get almost cleaned up, but he lost almost all of his mutas in that play. This base still isn't finished yet. One Ultra. There's enough Marauders in here. I think they should be able to take care of that. Yeah, it's a pretty expensive loss. Second thoughts about running into that. Though if he ran one Marauder into that and traded it, he might actually be alright. Quite a lot of banelings used on a small army there. That's a good trade to have as a Terran player. So if we look at actual resources, the Zerg player is essentially mining from one base right now. This base is just getting up and going, so I guess it's 2. Let's see if he can hang on to it though. He sees the Broodlords finally. Vikings in production. Pretty good fungals, catching quite a bit there. Such a huge Marauder army as opposed to Marines. It'll eventually get cleaned up by all of these Broodlords. Snipes down all the Ultras, and let's see if he actually is going to sacrifice. Looks like he's going to sacrifice some units and try to cancel the base quickly with the other ones. Does he actually pick up? He's got the resources. Well, it looks like there might be enough Zerglings here to deal with this. Yeah, with just Marauders in this mix, I don't think he's going to be able to stick around too long. Well, it's a lot of medevacs, you know? Medevacs are good. I don't know if anybody else knows that. The Corruptors in this mix is pretty good. Might be able to clean up a lot of these medevacs. I know Flash is going to boost out of there before that can happen. Broodlords are not protected right now, but there's a lot of Corruptors and 12 more mutas in production. Flash doing what he can do, sniping a few workers off. Let's look at the income again. Almost, well, triple slash quadruple right now for Flash. But that's just a pile of mules that just been dropped. Does have this base up and going again. It's alright. That is a funky mix. Now, once again, Flash really doesn't have much to deal with this. He's only got 3 Vikings over here. He's trying to get the Widow Mines underneath. Yeah, I don't think Flash can fight this as he's trying to right now. As soon as these mutas show up, he could lose all of his army. So I think he's going to have to piece. Still got a pretty good supply lead. Finally he's got Marines in this mix though. And he's about to lose them all. You know, that's a thing. Gonna have to fall back to the PF and wait for more reinforcements to cross the map. Now, Effort has some money. He should be looking at getting another expansion, but he still hasn't cleaned up this drop up here. Lots of mutas getting shot down by these Marines. The Broodlords are not focusing down on the bio here, so he's not trading as cost effectively as he would want. Still going to clean it up, but just kind of barely. Not much of this army left. Handful of Corruptors, Broodlords, and Mutas. And Flash doesn't have a bank, but he's got income once again, right? He's making the cash he needs to. The Zerg player is essentially mining off of a single base right now. That one Marine did not have long to live. Flash is probably a little confused that Effort hasn't been taking more bases to this point. This is a great position for Effort, huddling over these rocks. He's only got 2 Broodlords left, but they're going to be really tough to take down. Oh, now he's got more. Well, he's only morphing another 2. That's all he can really afford right now. What the hell is that thing doing here? I'd be pretty confused if that was that Marine. Like, what is this giant cock-looking thing running across the map? It looks like he's trying to get on top of these Broodlords before they can morph, and he will cancel 2 of them. And he will get the last Broodlords on the way out as well. Effort's in pretty big trouble right now. Looks like he did get a bit of a Zergling run by, which is always nice. It's great when you can get these off. Just they slow down your opponent, they cost some APM. Effort's picking off what he can, right? I'm not opposed to what he is doing. He's gonna grab a few Marines with his numbers, but that's what he's got left as an army. Nope, he saved up some money for 3 Ultras. He did push Flash into making almost all Marines. There's only 1 Marauder in here, so the Ultras could get something done. The Mega long distance mining. This base still not taken. Effort is on fumes right now. We're watching these things disappear before our eyes. Be a great time for some baneling bombs. You could try to get some banelings up. They do get a couple connections, but I don't think Effort can really fight right here. He needs those Ultras. A fungal would be sick, obviously. Flash up by just about 50 supply. Ultras are finally out. Sees this last stand of Effort. He's on creep, so this is the time to fight if he's going to. Once again, these super upgraded Ultras are going to do so well against these Marines. Great transfuses from the back, keeping the Ultras alive as long as possible. Not the best cutting from Flash, and he's actually going to get cleaned up. Save the 1 medevac. These guys are on vacation right now. Loses all the rest of his medevac. So Flash took a pretty big dip. Now he's making money. Flash isn't super concerned. Oh, he moved that command center over, even though he has other command centers. It's hilarious. So let's see how cost effective Effort can be with the small amount of units left. Just enough money to throw down another base. This is now mined out. He's got... Oh, he's actually got a drop back here. I wonder if Flash would remember about that. Come back and maybe hit some important tech. Doesn't spot the drop. That helped out a ton. Couple of turrets down here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Wow, these meters are 3-1. That's moderately decent. Doing like the mega repair. Mega. Keep going. I mean, it's not that cost effective. You still lose a ton of your workers. But I think at this point, Flash can afford it a little bit better. This drop is done. There it goes. The mutas are on this side of the map, so he should feel in pretty good position. Unfortunately, these might be better served around the hatchery. Don't know if he's going to get it in time. I don't think he will. No. He gets quite a bit of damage in on it, though. Everett's just going to have to huddle around this thing and pray. Flash is actually building workers again. It's down to under 40, but I mean, at this point it's more just about how cost effective can you be building salvation here. Units streaming across the map right now. It's actually kind of, oh, that's such crappy timing. Just as he decides to move all of his spine crawlers. That's really funny, actually. Finally back into getting some marauders in this mix, though. Not that many, but it will help him out regardless. So much better than just the flat marines he had before. So you can see those ultras really get cut down a lot faster. There was a drop behind this at the same time. Gets cleaned up by the crawlers. But there's just too much here. I think Flash finally has busted effort. He's going to take the series 2-0 for the WCS series. We're going to watch the biggest slaughter you've ever seen. He does middle and walk around the Terran units, but he can see all the Terran units. Not really dying. And down it goes. Effort taps out. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. This has been SeKo Starcraft, and we'll talk with you later.